Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to drink like a Korean. The first thing you need to know is that they love beer in Korea just like we do here. This is Cass. It's a beer that's actually produced in South Korea, one of several, but this is the most popular one. If you go to like a baseball game or other sporting events, this is generally what you'll be served. And this particular one is endorsed by Gordon Ramsay, the chef. Not a professional endorsement. He's not allowed to do that because of contract reasons, but he absolutely loves this beer. So, pretty much like the same beers that we have here. It's a lager. Just to give you an idea what it looks like. Pours in a little tasting glass. So as you can see, pretty much just the same thing we have here. Just a lager beer. Excellent, one of my favorites. So the second thing I want to share with you is Soju. So Soju, a lot of people say it's like sake, but it really is not. Sake is made from rice, and it's broken down with a fungus that brews it into a wine. So it's basically like a rice wine. This is similar, but it's not made from rice. It's made from potatoes and or sweet potatoes. And the finer quality one, the one they call it blue label. So if it's got this blue label like this, it also incorporates some tapioca in there as well, which makes it mellower and a little bit sweeter. So you can also get Soju in different flavors. There's a grapefruit. I've got a peach. What else do I have here? I've got strawberry, and there are several other ones out there as well. The grapefruit's probably my favorite. So the first thing you need to know about Soju is before you open it, you need to shake it up. And there's really no sediment or anything there. I think this is more a tradition than it is anything else. Way back, I'm sure there was some sediment in this when they used to make it years ago. So there's a particular way that you do this, and this is just a traditional thing. So you want to shake it in such a manner that you're creating a whirlpool inside the bottle so that it stirs, and then finally you flip it upside down and you hit it with your elbow, and that just jolts all of the contents inside. And then finally there's a specific way that they open the bottle as well. So before you open your Soju, this is basically what you do. So you get that whirlpool started, then you flip, and then flip again, and now it's shaken. And that's the traditional way of shaking. You can see it's nice and fizzy looking now, although this is not sparkling, it's just fizzy from having been shaken. And then finally, you just take the cap off all in one twist. You just got to know how to turn your arm correctly to do that. Something else that's kind of interesting about it, so all of our bottles in the United States all have a segmented ring that breaks loose, and those segments can come off. They can go in your drink, they can go all over your house, they can cut you. Some of them leave a ring on the bottle, and when you got a drink out of the bottle, that ring sometimes will cut your lip. So all Soju comes with a ring just like this. It breaks loose, and then it just stays right on the cap. And that way, you've never got a problem with that ring. So when you're going to drink Soju, Soju is drank out of these little tiny glasses. And as long as somebody's holding this glass, you're to just keep refilling it. When they don't want any more right at the moment, then they'll put that glass down. So if you're among friends, you could just pour a little glass. Keep in mind that over there is tradition, even if you're not a drinker. If you get together with a gathering, with a group of friends, somebody pours you some Soju, you're supposed to drink it, even if you're not a drinker. Just the first glass. You don't have to drink any more after that. So when you're among friends, you can just hold the bottle, you can just pour it in there. And of course, you sit there with that bottle. Now, when you're pouring Soju, the youngest person in the group always does the pouring. They're not allowed to pour their own glass. So when they're done, then they can set that bottle down, and hopefully somebody else sitting at the table will grab it and fill their glass. So when you don't want any more, you just put the glass down. Generally, that first glass at least, the other ones you can sip. The first glass, you usually just drink it down. Very good stuff. This is absolutely amazing. They also have aerators. So this is very similar to what you use with wine, especially like red wine, where you put an aerator on there so it incorporates some oxygen in as it's going, and it takes some of the harshness out of it and opens up the flavor, helps it blossom a little bit. So basically you just screw this onto your bottle, and then you just pour your Soju right through the aerator, and it incorporates some air into it and opens it up a little bit. Now, another thing to know is when you're in less than casual circumstances, you're in a business meeting or something of that sort, whenever you pour, always pour with your other hand propping. And this is not because you've got no control over the bottle. It's just a tradition. And the reason for that is they used to wear really baggy sleeves on their traditional garments that they used to wear. And you would actually hold that garment up so that you're not going to drape it in somebody's drink. If you are drinking among an elder, so someone that you need to show some respect to, or you're trying to win a business contract, then by all means, you are always to pour with two hands. You serve it to them with two hands, and if you're on the receiving end of that, you receive it with two hands. And then, whoever the elder is, you are to turn away from them and either put your hand over your heart or put your hand up as a prop, and you turn away from that person of honor and drink so that they can't actually see you drinking it. And that's just a tradition. That's the way it's meant to be there. Another thing that you can do is a drink that they refer to as somek. And somek is where you get you a little bit of beer in there, get you a little bit of soju, a nice heavy shot of soju, and a little more beer. And then you want this to be as fizzy as possible. It's kind of like back in the days when we used to have what they called slammers, where you would get any particular cocktail and you'd add some soda water and put a towel over it and slam it on the bar top to get it to fizz, because it really affects you more quickly. So all you got to do to get this to fizz, you can take a spoon and just go like that and it fizzes, or you can put a chopstick down into it and hit the other chopstick and it does the same thing effectively. So now you've got this fizzy beer with soju. And some people even use flavored soju when they make somek. Very drinkable, very nice. I like that. Okay, so another traditional drink is called Yakult soju. So Yakult is one of these little bottles of drinkable yogurt. And you just kind of shake that little guy up. And you basically take you a shot of soju, and again, you can use flavored soju for this drink as well. And you put that in. You can use a little bit more if you want. Just put a couple shots there. Soju's really not that strong. The flavored ones are generally like a strong beer. The unflavored ones are generally like a wine as far as alcohol. And then you take your Yakult and you just dump that right in. And then you add a little bit of Sprite. Sprite is by far the most popular lemon lime soda in South Korea. And so this will give it a little bit of spritz, because none of that in there is sparkling. And you just put your spoon in there and give it a little mix. And there's your Yakult soju. That is absolutely incredible. Excellent stuff. And the last thing I want to show you, and all of the same applies to soju as far as pouring it and receiving it, one hand or two hand, is this drink called Makgeolli. Now this, in fact, is similar to sake. It's similar to the Nigori Sake, which actually has the rice polishings added back in. So you have to make sure it's stirred well, and so it's going to be kind of milky. It almost looks like milk, as you can see in the bottle, and it is broken down with a type of fungus, but it's a different kind than the kind that they use for sake. And this is actually really, really good. So it produces a drink that's basically a probiotic, and you can get this in different flavors as well. My favorite is actually black bean flavored. Banana is really good. Peanut is really good. And it is traditionally served in these little copper or brass plated bowls. They're just basically an aluminum bowl with a plating on them. And same thing applies. Once you receive some of this from someone, you're expected to drink the whole thing. And that's what it looks like. And again, this is like no stronger than somewhere between a beer and a wine. Very creamy, very sweet. So putting the rice polishings back in adds a lot of sweetness to it. That's where the sweetness of grain comes from. That's why you can take like Japanese sticky rice and you can hammer it and make rice cakes out of it, and they're sweet. There's a lot of sugar content in rice. And so, again, just basically a probiotic. So this is your Korean drinks, beer, soju, with a lot of different variations on how you can use it, and Makgeolli. So thanks for watching.